Late Night Thoughts with Dean Ryan. Deep state meltdowns. Are we all melting? Aren't you tired of the sounds of sirens each and every night? Aren't you tired of the meltdowns? Well, so am I. Tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things as the DC Beltway melts. We begin to butter our toast with their tears. Brace yourself, because this is a podcast about everything and nothing at all. I, for one, cannot wait. We're going to be welcoming back Neil Bishop to join us for this DC Deep State meltdown. He would know. Brace yourself here. And cut. Okay. Thank you. Well, we have a bit of a delay there with our band. They took the short bus here to school. We are live here. We are live. Welcome everyone to Deep State Meltdowns right here on Late Night Thoughts. I am your late night host, Dean Ryan, who is recovering from all sorts of illnesses. Name it, I probably had it. But I'm back here with all of you tonight as we're going to be having a long discussion, in depth, of course, about the deep state meltdowns. And I, for one, cannot wait for this. So much so I'm using candles tonight because, I don't know, when I see Pam Bondi melting down, there's something very romantic about it, don't you think? We're going to be chatting about that here in this real late night kind of ordeal. It's always late, isn't it? You might have heard about everything that went down in the hearing earlier today. It was quite historic in a way and quite embarrassing. And if I were Pam Bondi, I probably would. Yeah, I'd probably use my dual passport to get the H out of the United States after that. I sure am quite embarrassed for her. Also, we might be getting into, and definitely might be getting into, the visit here by one of the authors of the Epstein files, and that's Netanyahu. You might have heard. He came to visit. He came to visit Mar-a-Lago. He came to visit the White House, and he came to visit all of us because he cares. He cares about his pets. We'll see what he was in frank discussions with the Donald earlier, as the march to war could never have. Well, it cannot be any more louder than it already is. Have you noticed? We'll be talking about that. But I couldn't think of a late night without the late night. One of our very, very close allies here. You might have seen him in the cover, which you didn't. It just dawned on me. That's one peeping Tom of a Neil Bishop there. I just realized that. We'll see what that's all about. But let's welcome back a man who's very observant, a man who knows a thing or two about meltdowns, and don't we all? The one, the only, the legendary Neil Bishop. Neil, welcome to Late Night Thoughts. How are you doing? Okay, might just be me. I don't know if I'm having issues, but we'll get to him in a minute.
How about now?
Neil, if you can hear me, wink with your left eye.
I can hear you.
Okay. We might be having some issues, but that's the kind of night it is around here. And I'll tell you this. I can hear you. You're so crisp.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, wonderful. Yes, I can hear you. Neil, we're going to get into some of the minutiae of the deep state meltdowns. Yeah. We have a bit of a delay because it's raining. I don't know if you see it's raining here. It's raining where you are. Uh, but we have just imagine we have a long delay between us. I'm in the future, you're in the past. But before we get into the detailed ordeals of today, uh, I think this is such a low for the country. You know, uh,
Uh-oh. I think we just lost Dean. Dean, are you there? Having technical difficulties tonight. Dean, if you can hear me, I can step in. All right, I'll go as if we are live still. But yeah, to bounce off what Dean is talking about, um, it is a new low, and I think we're all getting totally fatigued from this new low. And I think any hope that we had that Trump was going to solve this is quickly diminishing, or maybe slowly. Are you
I
there?
got taken down.
Are we on still?
Sorry, everybody. I got taken down. Of course,
Wow.
I got taken down. Sorry, everybody. Yes, we're on as just my usual self here. Neil, I didn't mean to interrupt your thoughts. It's not my fault. I swear. I don't know what you heard and when you heard it, but I was talking about just as a whole before we get into the details of what took place earlier today. This is so embarrassing as a country, I think, that we have, and there's some very pinnacle moments of earlier today of what happened, but this is so embarrassing that, we call ourselves justice for all, and clearly we're showing a clear display of anything but that. Just kind of in general, how does this make you feel just as an individual of everything you grew up on, of what you saw on full display earlier?
Well, the nonsense of it, you can't even calculate. Like, it's incalculable nonsense. And when you think about our attorney general, who is supposed to be in charge of law enforcement in this country, and who promised, by the way, she promised to get in and go after child sex predators. Like, that's what she went on, and that's what she did to, hopefully put to rest people's fears and qualms about not having somebody better in there that we all wish to God that we had now. But when you look at what she's doing, she's making a mockery of this entire system, the entire Epstein files, just like President Trump is doing. And I don't know if there's some calculated reason why he's doing it. I don't care anymore. All I see is face value. What he's done is make a mockery of it, and making a mockery of people like you and I and our listeners and the average American, the average person in the world, will say, who actually wants to chase down, hunt down, and rid the world of child predators. And not only that, we would like to also rid the world of people that consume children, people that eat other individuals, specifically, as what's been pointed out in these files, they are actually eating children. But don't worry, Dean, because the Dow, I had like 50,000, and the Dow and the gas prices are, 5 to 15 cents lower. And, why do we care about all this pedophilia, eating each other, kidnapping children, child trafficking? Who cares about that? I mean, aren't you saving a few cents on gas, Dean? It's insane. It's truly laughable now. And then you have the president of the United States going on right after she's done making a mockery of our entire system and complimenting her for what a wonderful job she did. I don't know where to go with all this.
Speaking of gas, I might need some Tums. Just everything I was watching just is giving me bubbles. I tell you. It is unreal. Neil, before we get into that, I made the case several days ago, and I've been dying to know what your thoughts are, because it's all over the headlines. It's all over television. Savannah Guthrie and her mother. You'd be hard pressed to find anything on Epstein files on the mainstream. What are your just first initial thoughts of that before I give you my very outrageous thoughts? Because the timing is so impeccable, don't you think? Savannah Guthrie's mother and everything about that.
My God. So nowadays my first thought is that's a lie, and then I pull back from that for a minute and go, well, maybe it's not just a lie. Maybe it's just like a white lie, like I don't know, just kind of a little manipulation of the truth, or maybe it's what we'd call a psychological operation. The timing, like you said, is impeccable. Just as we're entering into the Super Bowl, we get the Epstein files released, and then this person gets kidnapped, and every news organization is covering it, but nobody's talking about child predators eating children, trafficking children, buying all this acid and all these things to dissolve the bones of children. We're talking about this one person who I guess was kidnapped, and we have, a visual of the kidnapper at her door, and the FBI is asking anybody, that has tips to please let them know. Now, the person may actually be kidnapped. I mean, the event very possibly happened. There's that person now. But we all know whatever is streaming on the mainstream news is something to distract us at the very best. At the worst, it's just a complete and total lie.
Yeah. We think it might be Marco Rubio. This is what we got from our forensic team. We're not too sure yet, but Neil, I know it's not popular to say, but I'm not here for the popularity contest. I'm all about likes, but in this case, no, it's absolutely right. The first thing that came to mind. Look, the Epstein files drop, then this story came out. Okay, and then it doesn't make sense. It's like the George Floyd riots, from 5 or whatever years ago happened. In the first place, everybody riots is the CNN building.
Yeah.
Well, if you recall at that time, this was a time where the media was at an all-time low at the height of it all. And it was the first time that Obama had really got scrutinized in forever. It was Obamagate. So then they riot at the CNN building. So then if you criticize the media, then you might be one of the dangerous people. Well, fast forward, here we go. So Savannah Guthrie's mother goes missing, and the kidnapper or kidnappers, they go to TMZ first, but to Harvey Levin, who's all up and down the Epstein files. Oh, and then Bitcoin crashed on the same day. Oh, but then they want Bitcoin ransom money, but they won't tell you how much. They won't tell you how much. And then we're led to believe, that the security footage or her security camera, the subscription was off, but it just so happened to capture, potentially this guy here in the meanwhile. And it's just a total cover up. And then you look who Savannah Guthrie's husband is. He's connected to the Clinton Foundation. And to top it all off, Neil Bishop, the little cherry on top, she recites the Silence of the Lambs press conference script verbatim. I mean, Neil, insult me, but please don't insult my intelligence.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Neil. I got to go baptize myself. It's terrible.
Yeah. I might have to borrow some of those Tums or Pepto-Bismol from you, or just like a double scotch on the rocks. How about that? Something to ease the pain here. So, and I'll explain to everybody from a philosophical standpoint here, like from a big picture standpoint. What's happening is they've got the jar. And inside the jar, the controllers have the jar. Inside the jar are red ants and black ants. I don't know which one you are. I don't know which one I am, but we're a red ant or a black ant. We get along fine, and we're doing our thing. But what they do is they like...
What's it got to be racial? What's it got to be racial for?
Of course, it's always racial when I'm talking to you. And they shake the jar a little bit. And then the red ant thinks it was the black ant's fault. Then the black ant thinks it was the red ant's fault. But it's the controllers shaking it, going, oh, look, I'm going to get them. And they start fighting each other. And then they start talking about which halftime show is the best show to watch. And why I'm a Christian and I watch this halftime show. No, I'm a Christian and I watch that one. And whatever else we're arguing about, or they just they prod us and poke us in the side with something like this latest kidnapping, and like, oh, watch the little ants start fighting over this and that, and running around and following. We're like little babies, and they're shaking the little toy in front of us, and we're going, oh, we're trying to grab it, and we're like, oh wow, it's constant, it's nonstop. I think people are starting to catch on. I hope they are, Dean. Sometimes I have hope, and then other times I'm like, well, there's still millions of people that believe the whole official narrative of the Charlie Kirk stuff. So I don't know what kind of hope there is right now, but people need to wake up to what's actually happening here.
I think Claudine's right on the money per usual. She says, "Look, weird, very weird." Yeah. Harvey Levin. I've always suspected TMZ is such a Mossad storefront. They get all the hacking, like they did in England, and but Neil, if I ever kidnap someone, the first place I'm going to is TMZ to leave my ransom note. That's just totally makes sense to me. Okay, so or the CNN building for that case. Here's something. Okay, so here's some things I put together. And Neil brought something. And I'm sorry, did you say you watched the TP USA halftime show? I mean, was I the only one that I chose not to watch anything and be part of the sorcery?
Oh no, I'm not. Okay, I'm not following anything.
What's up with Erica Kirk? Did they rewrite her? She's supposed to be pregnant.
I guess that just went away,
Neil, and she's prancing around in like a Pussycat Dolls outfit. What in the world happened?
I guess it's just gone. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, just we forget about it. It's like they just recast it all of a sudden. Yep. Okay, here's some things that we took notice in no particular order, but if you missed it earlier today, Pamela Bondi, formerly of Baywatch, she, as the Attorney General, went to the court hearing today with Congress. And what a spectacle it was. This is the talk of the town. Everybody's talking about it. We all love it. And here's some of the clips. And then I think the last one I'm going to show you, Neil, is probably the most definitive one. And it hit home really hard. But let's see if we can start with
one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once. When he was
weak sauce.
Also, I want the record to reflect that, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh, is Jewish. I just want to be clear.
Do you want to go there, Attorney General? Or do you want to go there? Are you serious? Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust?
My time.
Really?
The committee will be in order.
Talk to Jared Wise about anti-Semitism.
The ranking member knows that.
Wow. Did everyone see that? Do you want to go there, Pam Bondi? And apparently Pam does. Pam wants to go there. And just astounding. Okay, here's another one here. And no particular order. And just to give you a little heads up, no, Pam Bondi does go there. She wants to go there. There's no defense. She came prepared with literally nothing. She brought just a pack of cards of charades. That's what it's all about. Neil, did you? I don't know if you saw that, but
the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee.
Are you kidding me? You don't think the Dow has a lot to do with what's going on? Hello, as if, talk to the hand, because, Pam Bondi don't give a damn. Neil, I don't understand, Neil. What is so hard to understand, Neil, that the Dow Jones, you don't think it has anything to do with anything? I mean, come on.
Could you imagine, I was thinking about
Jeez.
that. Actually,
Neil Bishop, go ahead. I know you're, go ahead, add something to that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm doing my best. It's difficult, but okay, hey, honey, where were you at so late? Where were you out so late? You were out until midnight last night. Well, listen, the economy's doing great. Wait, what? No. I'm wondering where you were at. Where did you go last night? Why are you asking me about where I went? Look at our bank account. Our bank account's doing great. I can't make this stuff up anymore. It's the stupidity and the nonsense of it is just too much for my brain to even handle. And I'm like, there has to be some sort of psychological operation over the psychological operation, trying to make this government and these officials look as stupid as they can so people wake up to it. That's my only hope right now, Dean. Could that be possible, that there's some sort of ritual where they're making her look stupid, they're making Trump look stupid, so people go, oh, all right, maybe we are being ruled by a bunch of complete morons. And not only that, but pedophilic, baby eating, Satan worshiping, and it's just completely stupid on top of all that. I don't know. I'm at a complete loss right now with this whole thing. It's almost to the point where your brain wants to just shut down. I need to just go out, and we need to start trading food with our neighbors and growing our own food and milking goats, like the guest you had on last time, and just have our little, our little commune and just be done with all this stuff. That's really where I'm at. Oh no!
But Neil, Ben Shapiro says the claim that Israel had anything to do with Epstein is baseless. It's anti-Semitic garbage. I mean, even if he didn't, he probably did and wants to and will. Here is another one here. So we showed you a few clips here. Here is one of the most I have more clips too, but here is the definitive one. We also have one with Thomas Massey as well. As we go back and forth here, but this is probably the most definitive thing that happened today, and then we'll show you.
In the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
no, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer. So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am reclaiming my time, and when I reclaim my time, it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady's reclaimed her
I'm not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
what
you.
a massive cover-up.
No, I'm answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing theatrics.
and let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final 17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only to then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Ghislaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
the chair now recognizes the chair.
And what you have done.
Time of the gentlelady expired. The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back. We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
Theatrics, Neil. It's all theatrics, very theatrical. Your thoughts there, because I thought that was the most pivotal moment of the entire hearing, in my view, because none of those women have been interviewed, Neil. As we know, Neil's having connection issues. Look, we get zapped every time we cover these kind of ordeals. I'm getting zapped right now. Neil seems to be getting zapped as well. But while he's out, and my take on it is, I thought it was the most pivotal moment. The fact that we actually have victims that didn't just call the hotline number, that didn't just, were hearsay, that had a story, Neil, that had something to add to it, and have been waiting to be interviewed by the FBI, whether it was this administration or the previous or the one prior. Nobody has talked to these women because they don't have any intention to not just talking to them, but investigating and also imprisoning their own, because if they did, they go down too. Neil, you want to add to that before we lose you and myself again, because it's astounding that none of those victims have been interviewed to this day. Go ahead, Neil.
Can you hear me, Dean? It's so delayed. I'm sorry. It keeps booting me out. I hope I'm on. I hope you can hear me. But yeah, I just think it's a sad day, mainly because this is not a partisan issue anymore. And I don't care at this point with these players. I don't care which side, whether they're on the left or the right or that kind of thing. I don't care which side. This has to be dealt with. And for some reason, we're getting gaslit into, and manipulated, really. It's a mind game that it seems to me that Trump and this administration are playing, that says you have to move on. We can't deal with this. We're done with this. It's time for the American people to think about something else and to move on. And yeah, seeing the victims there stand up, and we know some of them too. We know people that have been in this, mind control MK Ultra game. Hopefully that you and I are going to be able to have one of those persons on here soon, who have been victimized. And I don't care what administration it's under. What's being revealed is that both the administrations, the left and the right, are the same bird, two different wings. They don't care. They're using this for political reasons, or they're hiding it for political reasons. The left is trying to put this out for political reasons and get it out to the people to try to make Trump and team look horrible, which maybe they are. And the right is trying to hide it now and trying to cover their steps with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and these others. So it doesn't matter anymore. And again, it's like I always go back to, maybe this is actually a good thing, because people are seeing what the evil that's out there. They're seeing the lengths that our government goes to lie and withhold things. They've been doing this for decades under the fake Biden administration, the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, the Bushes, both the Bush administrations. It's been happening forever. And it's time for us to, I really believe it's time for the revolution to start. And I don't know what that looks like, but that's what we need. We don't need to vote somebody else in that's going to try to take care of this. Like, that's not working. It hasn't worked for a very long time. It's time for the system to crash and to fall.
Yeah. I totally agree to that. And let me add this here. This is just been stated by Thomas Massey just moments ago. If you could see that and you happen to have a magnifying glass nearby, it's talking about exactly what we're stating here tonight. The incredible, the complacent, if not cover up, that's being witnessed before our eyes. Here is the courageous Thomas Massey, in my view, a man who I met in Waco, Texas, a number of years ago. He started the hearing out by his questioning, so kind of round robin where it all began. Here it is.
Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim time
this is bigger than Watergate.
When I don't answer a question
this
the way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
She didn't answer the question.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, could she
She never answered the question. What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. I mean, this is something like we've never seen before. What can we say to that? What can we say to that? And what is Trump saying to that for that reason? Well, here's what Donald Trump has had to, here's his statement about it all shortly after the hearing, right on the tarmac with Mr. Lutnick, who was in the hearing.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Well, there you have it right there. It's what's all the hubbub about? What's all the fuss about? Trump doesn't seem to know. He doesn't seem to understand why and where. And who knows if he's playing a game? Who knows if, my thing is, we don't have time to roll the dice and just base our strategy, how we're going to go forward as a society, based on a whisper campaign, a hearsay, some kind of potential sting operation, and we hope that's the case. But the fact of the matter is, this puts the American president, as we see it right now, in a position where you could say before all this came out, well, if you, American president, don't go along with us and get into a kinetic war with Iran, well, these files are going to drop. Well, we better go along with that kind of thinking. Now it's to a point, well, these files are dropped, and boy, it looks pretty damning, whether it's real or not, wink, wink. But you sure want this to go away. What better of a distraction than a full-on war that's going to go not just kinetic, but worldwide in a World War III kind of casing, which will involve the other two superpowers, Russia and China, who are just deathly and deadly together. We don't want them to have some kind of union. We don't want that now. So, but that's exactly where we are right now, is we are now sitting on the precipice of just that very factor now, where Iran has been presented in these so-called negotiations with some demands and some kind of requirements for peace that go against their very own sovereignty as a country. So it would be like saying, if Mexico was going to stop the drug cartels and the trafficking into the United States, well, their demands for the U.S. were to be demilitarize our U.S. Soldiers and personnel from all over the world, and then get rid of our nuclear program. And then the trafficking will stop. Well, we know damn well that's not going to happen. And those requirements and those mandated, red linings, if you will, provided by Israel, they know those are not going to be met by Iran. Meaning, it's now it's a catch-22 for them, because war and the just reality of it is now full throttle and full force coming to a theater near you. That's where we're sitting right now. That's exactly where we are. We did lose Neil, who we are getting zapped tonight. That is no doubt about it. Certainly on his end, my end, and that's the nature of the game right now, and because it's me. But so we all saw that. Now here's some other things too. Here's some of the outcry that we took notice of. Dershowitz, who is really, he's kind of like that fried egg from those old "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" commercials. That's where he is right now. Alan Dershowitz, who is what we saw in the files, at the very least, a spy for the Mossad. And when he's not the defense attorney, well, he's all over, up and down the internet webs, proclaiming his innocence, and also proclaiming how he's going to go on the offense. To the point now, he's even going on Piers Morgan to relinquish those statements and make them a reality by the hour. Here it is. Check this.
16-year-old girl, a thief in the Daily Mail. You got Epstein 13 months in county jail with work release for abusing 34 victims, where he should have got life in prison. That's not a plea bargain. That's a spa package. And every single time, your defense is the same.
I challenge you to defend. I challenge you to defend your statement that he got 18 months.
Stop interrupting me, Mr. Dershowitz.
You're just lying.
A serial child predator and got him the deal of the century. 2 women accused you under oath. You settled for nearly $1 million. Innocent men don't pay. They go to trial.
That's another lie. Not a penny.
Guilty men
you're
with
lying. You're defaming me.
You are now going
to be sued. You are now going to be sued for saying I paid $1 million. You're going to be sued. And I would, Pierce, I would recommend you cutting him off when he says that I paid $1 million. I didn't pay one penny. That's a lie.
And trust you instead.
Bassem, you've spoken for a long time.
Okay,
Bassem, you've made it. Bassem, you've spoken for a long time. Bassem, you've spoken for a long time. You've made a number of allegations.
There is going to be. I can tell you right now. I am going to.
I want Alan Dershowitz to respond.
Keeps interrupting me, Piers. I didn't interrupt him.
Okay, I am going to. I'm going to make it very clear.
But he shouldn't be interrupting me.
I'm going to make it very clear. I'm filing a lawsuit immediately. I'm instructing my lawyers to file a lawsuit against him for saying I paid $1 million. What happened is a woman falsely accused me. She admitted she may have mistaken me and confused me for somebody else. She dropped all of her charges. Not a single.
Do you see what happens? He has to do lawfare, like a little hall monitor. Oh, he's lying. I'm gonna sue you for $1 million. That's the kind of little bee that Dershowitz and the people he represents and the people that stand by him in his corner are. It's disgusting to me. That's what we're dealing with now. Now, just let's change lanes a little bit as I'm going to pick up the show here on a solo track now, as we have been getting zapped. We did lose Neil, and that's just the way it is. And this is how we're enduring things while World at War is out of commission for the time being. Okay, so now Netanyahu has come to Washington, and some of the things that were talked about, which we're going to attend to right after the break coming up here, but I'm going to push the break back a little bit. We were kind of wondering what this talk was all about. This is his 6th trip to Washington, D.C. We're now guessing and guesstimating, well, obviously Iran was one of the topics, but the other topic was some of the rilings that are happening back in Tel Aviv against Netanyahu as the head prosecutor and actually the judge for that fact in his case of corruption back in Israel. Well, actually, the head judge was just found killed roughly several weeks ago in a just tragic motor vehicle accident, which is just, who would have saw that coming? So that can kind of give you a guess of where the winds are going to be blowing. But one of the things that appearingly it seemed that they talked about was how Netanyahu needs a pressure campaign put on the Israeli Congress back, or the parliament for that fact, to give him a pardon. For the president of Israel, because he's the prime minister, for the president to.
Wartime prime minister has been very strong. We've worked with him very well. We had tremendous success with Iran and everything else we've done. And he really has been. He's been, extraordinary as far as a wartime prime minister. Not easy. And, you have a president that refuses to give him a pardon. I think that man should be ashamed of himself. A pardon over this trial that's going on. The president of Israel, the primary power he's got is the power to give pardons. And he's not, he said he's given it 5 different times, but he doesn't.
Okay, let me just tell you right off the bat, that is a hard statement to hear, how it's a shameful thing that they're not pardoning Netanyahu. I can tell you for a fact that people like Roger Stone, people like Stuart Rhodes of Oath Keepers, Joe Biggs, and a lot of other people from January 6th that FBI, get together. They never got a pardon. They got commuted sentences, but they still have the felony charge and everything that comes with it on the record. Is it shameful that they didn't get a pardon? Is it shameful that there's a lot of political prisoners from the Obama era who are still sitting in jail that didn't get a pardon? I would say so. Is it shameful? In fact, I met someone the other day. Shameful that people got caught up in the McCarthyism of everybody is a KKK Nazi and just happened to be Caucasian, who got charged with domestic terrorism, and which is on the record to this day. People you don't even know about who have yet to receive pardons. I think that's shameful as well. But to hear that one of the biggest war criminals of our lifetime is not receiving a pardon, but has free access to the White House and the American president, I think that's shameful. Whether he's an American intelligence agent asset or not. And I'm talking about Netanyahu, in case you don't know. That's what has been found by a team of sleuths from the independent news media just months ago. Mr. John J. Sullivan, JJ. That's shameful. That's shameful. So we know they talked about that. He's putting a pressure campaign on Trump to not just go to Iran to eradicate any memory of the Epstein files, and especially the court hearing today.
ביקור קצר אבל חשוב בוושינגטון, בשיחה עם ידידנו הגדול הנשיא טראמפ. יש בינינו קשר מאוד הדוק ומאוד אמיתי ומאוד גלוי. כמובן השיחות התמקדו בכמה וכמה נושאים, אבל למעשה במשא ומתן עם איראן. הנשיא חושב שהאיראנים כבר למדו עם יש להם עסק. הוא חושב שהתנאים שהוא יוצר, בשילוב העובדה שהם בוודאי מבינים שהם טעו בפעם הקודמת, שהם לא עשו הסכם, שיכול להיות שיבצעו התנאים להשגת הסכם טוב. רוצה לשמוע את דעתי. אני לא אסכים מכם שאני הבעתי סקפטיות כללית לגבי טיב.
Americans are stupid. Marco Rubio's gay.
That's incredible. So you could see when he says things he doesn't want Americans to hear. He says it in his Israeli pig Latin. It's just very telling here. We have a lot of people who are commenting on this very factor all over the world right now, as we've had record amount of people watching tonight, and what has turned out to be a very flawless show here. Here we have. Okay, and I'm going to check on Rumble too, as we are broadcasting, on Rumble, Facebook over there, and YouTube. We have the great Seth Black saying the following. He says Epstein went to the White House 17 times. I did not know that. Thank you, Seth. In fact, there is a case to be made that Epstein is alive and well. I saw recent photos of him in Tel Aviv. I don't know if you've seen that. At first glance, it looks like the Sasquatch of the North American mammal that we've heard about, but it's certainly not. It's definitely him. You can tell it's not Bigfoot because he's not blurry. Okay, let me go to Rumble real quick. We have a lot of people watching right there. Thank you very much. And then when we get back from break, I have an incredible story. I have an incredible story sent to me by our very own James Martinez, and this is... Let me tell you, this story he shared with me, he wanted me to share it tonight, is gut-wrenching. And but I'm going to share it with all of you. Here we have, over here on Rumble, we have a lot of people. We have Lena Star Moon says he left his... Okay, I'm not saying that. Thank you very much. We have Rumble Mania #1. Netanyahu will threaten to use the Samson option or tell us where an incoming missile will hit the U.S. Rumblemania, you are absolutely on the money. Yes, everything they say that Iran's going to be doing is really, you can guarantee, a projection of what's going to be put onto us by Israel themselves, truly. When they say, look, there's going to be riots in the street, who do you think is going to start that? Where do you think this overt bullying tactics of ICE comes from? That's terrorizing a lot of neighborhoods that you just don't hear about or see necessarily on your local news. That's coming from the IDF. This is how things in business is operated as usual in Gaza, in the West Bank, by the IDF. They're doing it here to desensitize the American people for the greater security state that comes, which this was always in the plans. Open the borders, let 4 million people in. Some of them will be our Mossad proxies when, the sleeper cells, we'll use them when time comes. Let it in. And when people decry and get them out, we have the answer. Okay. And so the answer is ICE. Now, when people are going to decry ICE, the answer to ICE, as now ICE is moving out of Minnesota, is going to be, well, let's use our more polite security technology with Palantir. You see, the Hegelian dialectic is alive and well, everybody. People come into the country, well, we'll do something, we give them ICE. People don't like ICE. It's bad PR, I agree. Well, then we put in the security state next level, which is the social crediting score, the eye scanners for the retinas before you go into a grocery store to make sure that you're okay. Do you see how this works? I know, we all know. Okay, so here's another one here. Let me go one more before we hit the break here. it is just so, when you see the playbook and you know the playbook, and I think, yeah, Epstein is connected to everything. That is so true. That is very true. He is connected to Epstein. Years ago I said that Epstein, when the files drop, that was going to be a good indication that the financial resets are going to be ready to be just implemented, if you know. And I think we're just about right there. We're just about right there. And you could tell that things are on the move. We have many indications of a multitude of earthquakes on the west coast of the United States, up and down California, as south as San Diego. We know they're trying to get a rupture of sorts going there. We have a record amount of people who are sick from the most recent winter vortex, I being one of them. The fog vid definitely got me last week. I'm still reeling in from the illness fallout from that. We have the amplitude of gladiatorial sports on the rise like never before. Here we are, where we're arguing over halftime shows. What a spectacle. As I just got zapped. See what I'm talking about? They're zapping this show here tonight big time. No doubt about that. We're going to take this quick break, and I'm going to contemplate what level of just blood pressure I have right now. It's going through the roof. You're watching Real Deal Media's Late Night Thoughts, a very controversial episode here tonight as we get to the bottom of the deep state meltdowns and probably soon to be the on-air meltdowns if I don't get a grip on it. Anyways, stand by. We're going to take this quick break, and we'll see you on the other side.
You like me, you want to get to heaven, but you simply don't want to take your time, let alone wait in line? That's why I here at Tunnels to Heaven, we're going to get you to your final destination before the revelation, tribulation, and the strangulation. All you got to do is start giving, because forgiveness ain't cheap, it ain't free, and you got to give to forgive. So that's why sign up today. You can find it at a variety of locations, and underneath the synagogues, we got one in Brooklyn, we got one in Alabama, and we got one over there in Seattle, Washington. Get your fix before you get your kicks, and don't fall for any of these tricks. Get your Tunnels to Heaven membership today, because God's waiting, but he ain't gonna pick you up. Hold on, what's that?
What are you saying?
Oh, it's my turn to go in that tunnel. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you in heaven.
Order your Tunnels to Heaven today. 1-800-TUNNELS. 1-800-TUNNELS.
Remember, like, going into the 90s? Like, there's some movies that I would recommend you leave in the past. The movies with cops. So you had one cop who was playing by the rules, ready for retirement. The other one who was rogue. Took the badge. Maverick. He's a maverick. He don't play by the rules. He's dangerous. He hangs on to 18-wheelers going, 90 miles per hour by the side and takes a fleet of army down, a whole fleet. Just talking about it, I get blurry. That's how bad it gets. No, there's no rules. Once you take the badge off, anything goes. It's full on, too, when the good cop, who played by the rules his whole career, goes,
All right, I'm taking my badge off, too, for this one time.
And, you think about those films we grew up on, is the cop movies, lawyer TV shows, the hospital shows. You would think that the only jobs in America are cops, lawyers, and some gig at the hospital. You are watching Late Night Thoughts with Dean Ryan. It's Deep State Meltdowns. Late night. Controversial episode. It's getting us all in trouble. It's getting us zapped. Neil Bishop's past his bedtime. He's going to get in huge trouble. He might have to contact Dershowitz for a lawyer. Once again. Okay, we are back almost. Let's get going for the second half, the final half, the conclusive part of tonight. Thunder only happens when it's raining. That's true. Is that right, Stevie? She's still with us, right? Yes, she is. Okay, let's get going here. Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night Thoughts, the Deep State Meltdowns. I am returning very cautiously. I'm watching my steps. Yes, I am. I'm still Dean Ryan. As time is of essence. Yes, it is. But there's no better time than now. Okay, we are going to hit some few more stories here. I want to tell you about this here. This was sent to me, and I think this is so telling on so many fronts here. And if you want to see World at War come back, help us get there. We had some freak accidents, and I'm not talking about just tonight. No, I'm not. It's a long story, but let me share this with you right now. This was sent to me from James Martinez, who is out of the country, actually. Out of the country. I'm trying to get him back on. We're trying to coordinate some proper times. I want to share these with you. Let me tell you about this. A Pedialyte ring. I think you know what I'm talking about. Busted. Okay, a ring was busted for selling in wake of everything we're seeing here with the Epstein files. A ring was busted just today where they were selling access to young boys to men with HIV. Isn't that something? Let me tell you a bit more about this. And then, you know, what is Pam, I almost said, what is Pamela Anderson going to say to this? Pam Bondi, what is she going to say to this? What is she really going to say to this? Let me tell you. So here it is. Yeah, Peter ring busted. Authorities in Senegal. I want to say, where's Senegal? What city is that exactly? All right, so authorities apprehended 14 men, individuals that is allegedly involved in one of the most sickening crimes in recent memory, and an operation that forced children into sexual encounters with men, including those who were HIV positive, which we can thank Fauci for that. The suspected mastermind behind it all is now connected to this. Okay, let me just tell you. This is in France. Excuse me. So this is worldwide. These Epstein files are affecting everybody worldwide. So the suspected mastermind behind the network is Pierre Robert, a French national who was taken into custody into France last April, according to police statement released just earlier today. So there you have it. This is happening. The Epstein case, and Epstein, for that fact, is one of the splinters on a huge rusty nail. So you wanted me to share that with you. So you can bet your bottom dollar that this is happening. There's also another procurer, if you will, in Canada. He's the Epstein of Canada. That's a piece I want to take on next week. And finally, Netanyahu's former security details. This is from James as well. Netanyahu's former security details reveals that his son, Benjamin Netanyahu's son, Yair was sent to Miami, and you might recall the son is living in Miami, not serving in the military like law, like everyone who is a citizen of Israel. You have to serve a certain amount of time in the IDF, not his son. So he was sent to Miami, where he lives in a penthouse. And he was sent there after assaulting his father and other members of the security team. Wow. So that's why he's in Florida. So that's now coming out. And then let me share this with you from our very own Forseti, our EU insider, who is now sharing this in regards to England. So he said, in his very humble opinion, he thinks a lot of people are getting thrown to the fire right now. The redacted names that are becoming unredacted to protect others, and that's a given. For instance, Lord Meltdown, who's connected to Keir Starmer, who's now being told to step down. Lord Meltdown, as you know, got Keir Starmer the job. Connected to Epstein, Keir Starmer knew about it. Lord Meltdown will be arrested before this weekend. This is what our insider is now saying. So that arrest is coming, and more arrests are to follow. Yeah, so there you have it right there. This is a worldwide takedown. And no matter which way you slice the onion, the deep state onion, you can guarantee a major distractions on its way. In fact, the connection to Epstein, the person connected to Epstein who sits on the head of the Olympic Committee, as the Olympics are now, the Winter Olympics have started in France. But excuse me, he's on the Los Angeles Olympic Committee, higher up. His name escapes me. Will not step down, and get this: the LA Council, Olympic Council, is backing him. So they're trying to make this a political divide in a way. They're trying to politicize this of why they're backing or not backing, but you can't, because both ends of the political spectrum are all implicated. There's no room to wiggle. Therefore, the only out is either war or extraterrestrial invasion of sorts, or contact. Those are the two options. So divine intervention or kinetic war. That's where we are right now. That's how this cookie crumbles. You see, we were born at night, but it was 2 nights ago. All right, so there's that one right there. Let me go to Rumble here, and I'm going to check a few more comments before I go douse myself in kerosene and start dancing to the night here, because I can't take it anymore. Let's see what people are saying here. Well, here's some other news that came out. We have news about Obama. Seth Black says, Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein. What does it say? Dead chef. There's another dead chef. Okay, there you have it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Seth Black. Here's another one. And there's so many people have a take on this. You know, it really puzzles me to hear people attack Thomas Massey. You know, because if it wasn't for the courageous actions of Thomas Massey, who definitely didn't have to do this if he cared anything about his political career, it takes actions like that to really speak up for the voiceless. And, you know, that says a lot. That speaks volumes of something that goes beyond reputation and something called character. And when you have character in a very character or non-character town called Washington, D.C., that speaks volumes to the masses. And it doesn't require necessarily loudness, you know, pizzazz style. It requires something called courage, something referred to as telling the truth, something that is very, it's very kind of, what you call, there's a infraction to it, something called integrity. that you don't see a lot of, and he definitely displays that. So I don't understand the attacks on him, because Trump doesn't like Massey, therefore we go with Trump. Look, I've even made I presented all perspectives that I can possibly within reach share with everybody. And it's up to the individuals who watch these shows to, like the Matrix says, choose what pill you're going to digest, but choose wisely. Choose wisely, because you just saw all those young women, all those victims raise their hand and said, "We've never been interviewed by the FBI from this administration, from the last one, or the previous one in the Bush years," and they're still waiting. And the Bushes have a lot to answer for, don't they? Now it's coming out that senior and junior were literally not just assaulting children, but cannibalizing them. I guess now we know why Jeb Bush has just gone missing, very quiet. We know probably why the Bush twins are now very quiet. Laura Bush, the wife. Does this make sense now? I'll tell you. And George W. Bush, we haven't heard a peep from him. No, we haven't. Because that's coming out. The Franklin scandal will be resurrected. And what I learned in that very eerie case, you may not know, because a lot of my work from the earlier days got scrubbed. I was one of the first to write an article on Epstein and the blackmailing of Netanyahu as far back as 2014. Can you believe it? August of 2014. I said in that particular article on 21st Century Wire, I said how Bill Clinton was being blackmailed by Benjamin Netanyahu. They had his sex tapes, phone sex, all that stuff, and how Epstein was a person of interest that will, pretty much bring down the house. And a lot of those things got scrubbed. I went to Boys Town, Nebraska in 2017 to really get a good glimpse of what that culture was in Nebraska, and traveled the Bible Belt too during that time. But the Franklin scandal was a very true ahead of its time, and it represented the underground tunnels that began in places like the Boys Town Catholic School over there in Nebraska, and secret tunnels that went all the way into en route to the White House, where they were funneling young boys from that particular area into the Bush-Reagan White House. And a lot of that had to do with Bush. Reagan was, in my view, given a Alzheimer kind of pill. Made him very aloof towards the end, if you remember the 80s. And that whole decade was really ran by Bush. His other syndicates like Cheney, Rumsfeld. And a lot of what we're finding out is what I knew about a long time ago, and what was being done as far back as the 80s that is somewhat recorded history. And with that brought in people like Hunter S. Thompson, who was then hired by the powers that be to be a filmographer and a photographer for their get-togethers. In particular case, those at Bohemian Grove, where a lot of this took place as well, and where they would funnel the children who were predominantly captured from Nebraska, being one of them, but also Ohio. Ohio is a big breeding ground to harvest these victims, due to its proximity to Washington, D.C. and New York. It's very flatland features in its regions. And then they would be flown to Area 51 in Nevada and Las Vegas. And from Area 51, these children were caged, if you can believe it, and put into Tarzan suits. And then from there, from the Area 51, the Cessna planes would then go to Northern California, where they were then procured, if you will, in the Bohemian Grove, and with people there with the likes of Henry Kissinger, to Merv Griffin, and other heads of states and foreign leaders as well, dignitaries and diplomats. Richard Nixon was quoted as saying, there's nothing but a bunch of GDFs there. You can fill in the blank. So you could almost make a case he wasn't really part of that persuasion. And then goes into Watergate and how the CIA purposely fumbled their acquiring of certain files he was trying to get, which I believe were the JFK files, and probably some other ones as well that he was afraid they were going to use as blackmail. He was then warned by a then Reverend Billy Graham about the rising power and the shadow power at that of the Zionist faction and factor within the United States, and how the pursuit for nuclear power and weapons by Israel was something that was going to be brought to a halt by JFK, as he was trying to put a nuclear proliferation pact on Israel, who did not want any part of that. And the rest is history. The Zapruder film, who's Zapruder, connected to the Zionists. Jack Ruby kills Lee Harvey Oswald. Who's Jack Ruby? Real name, Jack Rubenstein. I think you know where I'm going. A few years forward, Bobby Kennedy perishes. We're led to believe by a Palestinian national who was just a terrorist of his own. Well, if you rewind back to 1967, well, that brings us the 15-day war, where Israel, really went far and above and beyond their land acquisitions, and to further victimize their prowess. Well, they made sure that Bobby didn't get anywhere near power, and brought a Sirhan to the scene, who has no recollection of it. But clearly there was more than one shooter there. And there was also the Whisper campaign that Bobby was more than happy to potentially add Martin Luther King to his administration, at the very least, if maybe not, dare I say, VP. Martin Luther King, who's no saint. The files that were released 6 years ago that we covered for you here at Real Deal Media painted an entirely different characterization of Dr. King, which I'm not sure I'm comfortable in getting into here tonight, but I can now understand why Ronald Reagan was a little hesitant to signing the Martin Luther King holiday into federal law. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, Joan Baez may tell you. But to wrap it all into one, there was a silent war, now we're figuring out, that Israel enacted on the U.S. that really goes back to 1963. But as far as recorded documentations are concerned, well, it goes back to 1987, where you have one of the most prolific spies. You know his name out there, who was caught in prison in 1987, where he served a lot of hard times. Barack Obama gave him a pardon before he left office. Was it Jonathan Hayward? Is that who I'm talking about? And then followed by Donald Trump gave him free passage back to Tel Aviv, where he was flown by Miriam Adelson's private jet, to where now he's living a life of luxury in Israel as we speak. So we see where this is all leading up to. Now we're at the most critical point here in United States history, where the devolution that we have been witnessing the past 6 years has now reached its critical mass, where we now see the complete and utter cover-up and failure of the Department of Justice, to the point where people are questioning, why is there even a Department of Justice when it's clearly a Department of Injustice, whose motto is to cover up all, or the Bush doctrine, for that fact, of admit nothing and deny everything, or in Pam Bondi's situation, admit nothing and bring up the Dow Jones. So we're seeing how this is playing out. And to say it's embarrassing would be the understatement of a year, the entire year. But the fact now we are now at the edge of in the beginning of World War III, as the demands are impossible and would be self-suicide at behest of Iran to meet the demands and requirements of the red linings of Israel or the U.S. at behest of Israel. So then we're going to see now the Israel go into this war with Iran alone. They're going to get a big surprise, and I shouldn't say surprise. They're going to get weakened pretty badly, where it's going to force the hand of the U.S. military to step in. So Donald Trump has he has to decide which part of ultimate history he wants this country to be on, because his legacy may be tarnished after this, if not already. But what kind of country and world does he want his grandchildren to grow up in? In a world that's going to be a war-torn country, because that's where we're headed, or a world that may have a tarnish to his legacy, but at the very least, it won't ruin the chance in the future of many, many young people of today who've already grown up in a post 9/11 world, who've already grown up in a world where they had to wear masks 6 feet apart and forced and mandated to take an inoculation for which many people don't even know what's in it, but the turbo cancers are rising. So that's the kind of decision at the critical 5 minutes before midnight that people like Donald Trump or the variety of people that play him have to make. So that's where we are. I'm going to end it there here at Late Night Thoughts, where we do apologize for God knows what's been happening here. But yeah, we definitely got zapped here tonight. Neil Bishop wanted to be here fully, but he's here in spirit. So we're going to end it there. I will be back with our members this weekend at some point. With that said, and I want to wish many people a very well. It's Valentine's Day weekend this weekend, as you may know, and it may be hard to celebrate that, but there's still love in the air for some. For some, there might be love in the air, but nonetheless, love is ultimately the answer, because it's what every song's written about. What can I say? So I'll leave you with this. I will be back Monday, and hopefully World at War will be back sooner than that, if not by Monday or sometime next week, hopefully. So in the meanwhile, for all of us here at Real Deal Media's Late Night Thoughts, I'm Dean Ryan, saying thank you for sharing a bit of your late night and all of your thoughts with us. So for Neil Bishop as well, we want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. I hope you don't get sick out there like I have. And tell somebody you care, tell someone you love.